Hi, this is Sarah Satch, and this is part 2 of how to make a dog bone applique and dog toy. In part 1, we made this dog applique that you can make. Measures about 5 inches. You can make it in any size. Just change your hook and your yarn. If you're using a chunkier yarn, use a bigger hook. Smaller yarn, same thing. And this is, of course, a free pattern on my blog, and I'll have that add that in the comments for you, that link. And what we're going to do with part 2 is I'm going to show you how to take that same technique and make it into a dog bone toy for your dog. What you're going to need besides that, we used a G-hook in part 1. We still need a G-hook. You're still going to be using worsted weight yarn, number 4, but you're also going to need a needle for sewing your dog bones together. And you're also going to need a little bit of polyester fiber fill, probably not even an ounce, because I don't like mine to be real stuffed. Now, if you want to stuff yours real tight, you might need a little bit more. But this is what I used, and I use this for all my dog toys and ammies that I make for my grandkids or whatever. Alrighty, so in part 1, we did rounds 1 through 3 to show you how to make the center of the dog bone. Now we're going to go with round 4, and basically it is the same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and move the screen back down so you can see my hands. Alrighty, here's the dog bone we're going to be making. This one is made with Red Heart, Fiesta, and beige and brown colors. And what we're using today is just a Red Heart beige that I had on hand. Like I said, this is a great way to use up your scraps. Your yarn scraps. Okay, so we did rounds 1 through 3, and next we're going to do round 4. And what you're going to do, you'll chain 1, and then you'll single crochet in the next 8 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you'll skip that 1 single crochet that's right there, and then you'll do 4 single crochets up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in the next stitch, you're going to put 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then you'll do 1 single crochet, and then you'll do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, and that eases you around that corner. Then you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the next stitches. You'll skip that center stitch, and then you'll just repeat it. 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets in the same stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Oh, ball almost rolled off the table again. And then 4 single crochets, 1 in each of the next single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see it's getting nice and rounded. And that's what we want for our dog bone toy. All right, now we're going to skip that one in the corner, and then we're going to do 8 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll skip that single crochet right there in that corner, and then we will do like we did on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 single crochets in the next. 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the next. 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Then we will do, let's see, there we go. Get in there. 1, 2, 3. Then we skip that center, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets in the next, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have one left here that we're going to skip. And then we're going to join to the first single crochet on round 4. And you can see it's starting to curl up here, and that's exactly what we want it to do. This is actually the outside. When we're done, that's going to be the front. All right, one more row, and then I'll show you how to put it together and make a fun dog toy. So, row 5, we're basically just repeating what we just did. So let's chain 1, and we're going to stitch across. And the reason we don't want to increase is because we want that dog bone to curl on those edges. It makes it much easier to sew together. All right, skip that corner. Oops, I stitched in the corner. All right, skip that corner. Do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 single crochets, 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, skip that one in the center, and then we go over and do 1, 2, 3, then we do 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Now, this pattern is free on my blog. If you can't keep up, you know, you can always pause and go back on the patterns. On the videos. You can always pause, go back, look again. But what we're doing is, as we're making videos, we're going through and retesting the pattern. And then we're updating the pattern. And I'll put the pattern link in the comments, like I said, so you'll have that to go off of. All right, that's the 5th row of this end. See how it's all curled up? That's exactly what we want it to do. Skip that one, and we'll do the last bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want 2, 1, 1, 2. Oops. I'm going to put 2 in the same one. There we go. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're skipping that one in the center. Oops. My ball of yarn rolled over. That ball of yarn has a mind of its own. 1, 2, 3. Now we're doing 1, 2, then 1. There we go. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're skipping that stitch, and we're going to join to the top of that chain 1. Or I'm sorry, single crochet. Now, I'm going to cut this off. And Rosie's wanting to play with it already. Okay, and tie that off so that you can see, pull that in so you can see. This is the way you want it to look, but this is actually the outside. And so what I do is I just pull those in like that. And I've got a second one made here, and I did it in a light color. I did it in this cream, and then I decided that the beige would be able to see a little better on the screen. So let me pull that out. So we've got, you need to make 2. And what I do is I lay them with their right sides out. Now you will have to do a little easing around the corners. And there are 2 ways you can attach these. You can either slip stitch or you can sew it. And what I'm going to do is slip stitch it because I think it goes a lot faster. And what I'm going to do is, you can see it sits like this. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see it on this one better. And I'm going to just go through the top 2 loops and the bottom 2 loops like this and pull my yarn through just like that. And then what you'll do is you'll just slip stitch in each stitch just like that all the way around. Make sure you're going through both the front dog bone and the back dog bone. There we go. Now you can thread a needle and sew it closed if you want, and you can pretty much do the same technique. I just think it goes a little faster if you slip stitch. And as you can see, I'm going through these 2 loops and these 2 loops and just pulling it through and going through that loop. Just like that. And if your loop gets a little loopy, just pull it in. There we go. Now, if by accident you added a loop, a stitch too many, that's okay. You can just kind of pull it through. Just make sure you don't leave any holes. There we go. We're getting around the dog bone. Now, I have had, just FYI, I have had many dog rescues make these to sell to raise money. They've also used them as prizes to give away. And I've also made them for dog rescues to give away. And when they're doing their fundraising and stuff. And one time I did a whole bunch of them, sold them for $5 a piece. And it was really fun because I got to get rid of all my extra yarns. You know, and I made them in all different colors. I mean, not just beiges and browns. I made them in pink and yellow and variegated and whatever yarn I had on hand, you know. And then I added little bows for, you know, just to put a little tag on it. It was really fun, and it's a really cute idea. So if you're looking for something to do to use up your yarn scraps, and I tried to stick with worsted weight, but you can use, if you've got, I mean, I really would stick with acrylic yarn because some tiny dogs that don't have a lot of fur can be allergic to wool. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to sew this all around to here, and then you'll stuff it with the polyester fiber fill. That you have. Now, something else that you can stuff your dog bone with is old t-shirts, old socks. But I really would recommend not using yarn to stuff it with. I tried doing that as well, and I found out that they pull the strings out and they try to eat them. And yarn strings can get caught in their intestines, and that's why it's really important that when you're making something for a dog, you tie it off really good. Bigger dogs, it's not really an issue, but tiny dogs that have such sensitive intestines. My mother's dog got a little squeaker toy stuck in her intestines, and we almost lost her. Of course, she's passed on by now. But I'm not a big proponent of using the little squeakers. Okay, so I've come back around. I've got it stitched all the way around except this opening, and I'll pull that loop big. And then what I do is I just grab some and I stuff it down in those corners first, just like that. Get a little bit more, and it's up to you how much stuffing you want to stick in there. See, I think that's too much, so I'll pull some of that out, and we'll just work that in there just like that. Okay, so now you've got your stuffing in there. And then you sew it closed, same way, and then you end up with this. Thank you for watching my video.